So a few days ago, I was doing some summer cleaning in the house, going through old files and folders, cleaning out some drawers, and I wound up finding something that surprised me, which is all of the pay stubs from the time that I was teaching kids piano and performing at churches from 2016 to around 2018. There's a lot of pay stubs in here, and I think some people, when they look at this, are going to think, wow, that's amazing. You had some secure work doing music. Isn't that the dream? And to be honest with you, when I look at these pay stubs, I don't think about being secure and having that safety net every week. I just think every single one of these pay stubs represented one more week where I was not doing something that I really loved. As every check came in the mail and every week went by, I found myself getting more and more paralyzed by that misalignment, to the point where I remember having lessons at 4 p.m. and I'd be sitting in a chair at home at 2 p.m. sleeping because I was so stressed about having to go out and do something that I didn't want to do anymore. I think when people are interested in pursuing composing as a career, they tend to focus on a lot of the potential pain that comes with it. The pain and insecurity of not knowing where your next check is going to come from, of not knowing who you should contact, how to find work, of being uncomfortable with networking and marketing. We focus on all of that pain. But there's another pain that exists too. And in life, you often have to make these trade-offs and choose between two different types of pain. There's this pain of insecurity with composing full-time, but there's also the pain of not doing something that you love and choosing a career that doesn't fulfill you. And I think one of the more nefarious parts about that type of pain is it's a very subtle pain. Tony Robbins has this really great quote that says, change happens when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. So when staying the same is painful enough, that's when we change. But the problem is security is only a little bit painful, right? If you have a secure job and you have a stable paycheck coming in week to week to week, it's not that painful, right? Maybe it's like, it pays the bills. Don't love it, but it pays the bills. But what happens over time? If you think of your alignment as like a parallel line, right? So here's what you dream of doing, what you want to do, and here's what you're doing, and maybe let's say it's even just like 10 degrees off, right? In the beginning, not that bad. You're still pretty aligned with what you want to do. But what happens as every year goes by, right? That gap, that 10-degree gap, suddenly becomes very, very wide after 10 years. And after 10 years of doing something that you don't really love, but it's okay, suddenly there's this huge misalignment. And might not even be 10 years. For some people like me, it's a year of doing something you don't love. Suddenly you feel frozen and you can't bring yourself to get up out of bed and you just dread going to work and people ask for one little revision and you freak out. That's because you're misaligned. You're not doing something that you truly love. Now, am I saying that the only right way to do music is to do it full-time, drop everything else? Absolutely not. I think there's a totally valid career where you're getting paid doing something that's non-music and making time to do something you love on the side. But I also think that that is not the path for everybody. I think that there are some people like me who honestly just can't live with themselves unless they're doing something that they love, that they're truly passionate about. It's their driver. And if you're one of those people, I just want you to sit and think about 20 years from now, when you're looking back at your life and thinking about what you have or haven't done. How do you feel? Do you feel proud of what you've accomplished? Do you feel fearful of having not changed course? Where are you at? And it's just important to be realistic and think about that, because if you don't think about that, if you only think about the present pain of switching and trying something new, that fear is going to dominate you. And you need a fear that's pushing you from behind, that's saying like, if you don't do this, if you don't do this thing that's right for you, there will be consequences for it in the long term. Again, there's no path that doesn't involve some pain, whether it's the pain of insecurity or the pain of misalignment. There's no path. Realistically, there will always be trade-offs. But I would really encourage you to sit and think about which trade-offs you're willing to accept for the sake of your own happiness. Your path may not look like mine. Your path may not be a creative one, or your path may look even more creative than mine. It's totally up to you what that looks like, but sit and think about that. Don't let that just be a little thought that comes in your head late at night and then you go to sleep and wake up. Really sit and think about that, and think about how you can design your life in a way that feels in alignment with what's important to you. That's all for today's video. Again, if you're interested in the bootcamp, I teach composers how to get paid to do what they love. It's linked in the description. All the best to you. Talk soon.